I hate this movie. I really do. There is just so much that the mind can fathom at how really bad it is. I remember when I first saw the cardboard cutout display advertising this movie in the theater lobby, I said to myself, there is no way that this will catch on with anyone. Given how abysmal the box office results turned out to be, I was surprised to find how right I actually was. For those of you that don't know, this movie's loosely based on a short-lived kids show called My Bedbugs, and it features such cutesy-wootsy mascot-like children characters named Toofy, Zuzi, and Gooby. Collectively, they're known as the Oogieloves. There's even an anthropomorphic vacuum cleaner named J. Edgar. In case you don't get the joke, it's a play on the brand of vacuum cleaners named Hoover, which happens to be associated with the name of the first director of the FBI. Anyway, the movie was shot in 2009, but did not get a release until 2012. Even then, it only lasted in theaters for 23 days, becoming a huge box office bomb. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. It's a movie made for kids. How bad can it really be? Well, I'll tell you. The Oogieloves are preparing a surprise birthday party for their good friend, Schloofy, who's a talking pillow. Yes, you heard that right. During the preparations, J. Edgar inadvertently spins around while holding 5 golden magical balloons when, oh no, he accidentally lets them all go. So now the Oogieloves have to go find them all before Schloofy wakes up from his nap. Along the way, they come across some rather eccentric human characters while also encouraging the audience to sometimes get up and dance about when instructed to do so. So, think of this movie kind of like if Barney the Dinosaur crossed over with Pee-wee's Playhouse and was made into an obnoxious and dragged out musical adventure. Now, the idea of a film being interactive for audiences isn't too bad, so long as you know how to do it right. Could you imagine, though, a bunch of kids in a movie theater getting up to dance about in the aisles without bumping into each other and getting hurt? I certainly wouldn't. Could this movie have worked better as a TV special or as direct-to-DVD? Maybe. But regardless if this movie were released to theaters, television, DVD, or streaming service, there is no excuse for how awful everything's conceived and executed. It's so bad and so dumb. Had I seen it in the theater, I would have repeatedly banged my forehead on the top edge of the seat in front of me, expressing how ridiculous everything is. The humor in this movie is so lowbrow, I doubt that even a baby would find it to be all that funny. Also, I did find a few things to be very questionable for kids, possibly inappropriate even. As far as finding all the golden magical balloons is concerned, there are a few moments that could logically be solved instantly. Say if I were to suggest a ladder for the Oogieloves to use to reach for a balloon that's far out of reach. But then the movie would counter-argue that it's too easy and not enough to pad out the running time. Well, here's my argument. Just because the movie can make things a little more challenging for kids doesn't mean that it has to be done in an insulting kind of way. What really aggravates me is how this movie tries to stretch out its razor-thin plot to 90 minutes. And I especially hate how it talks down to kids, not showing any respect for their intelligence whatsoever. How could it get such big-name stars like Cary Elwes, Cloris Leachman, Christopher Lloyd, Toni Braxton, Chaz Palminteri, and Jamie Presley to sign on for this? Did any of them even think it was going to be all that good? Maybe they just did it for the money. But who really knows? Not only is this one of the worst kids' films ever made, it's one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life. And that's saying a lot, considering many of the bad films I have reviewed. Clearly, this movie has a highly inflated sense of ineptitude. if I were to rate the film on a scale between 1 and 10, I would most definitely give it a big, fat 1. Unless the people at Riff Tracks ever decide to do an audio commentary on it, I don't highly recommend it at all. Not even out of irony. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes my review. Thanks for watching, and might I suggest reading a book sometime? See you later.